Hey everybody, it's Nick G. Kiefer here, back with another video. Today I'm actually going to be doing something just a little bit different. I'm actually going to be sharing a testimony about something that happened to me over this last weekend. Now, this channel is not necessarily a Christian themed channel because I do a lot of different things, usually centered around music, including pop music, some jazz, other things. However, I am a Christian, and so every once in a while when I have something like this that happens to me, I do want to share my story with you guys, for those who are interested. And so this is what happened to me this last weekend. So, before I get started, I actually have to preface this with something that happened to my wife about a year ago. My wife had what I can only describe, or what she describes as, like a vision. So she had this vision that she was at the mall in the food court area, and in her vision, she was shot. There was a shooting that happened at the mall, and she was shot, and she was dying in her vision. And when I asked her if this was perhaps just a dream, she said it wasn't a dream. She said it was extremely vivid, like it was real life. And she could feel herself being shot. And she insisted that it wasn't a dream. And so my wife was very scared ever since she had that vision a year ago. And she has been kind of hesitant about going back to the mall ever since then. So as a Christian, I've been going through different seasons in my faith. There are times when I feel as though I'm going through a season of being more of a spiritual Christian. And then there's been times where I've been going through a season of being more of a carnal Christian. And what I mean by that is that, for example, up until this point, I was going through a season where I felt like I was more of a carnal Christian, where I identified as a Christian, but I didn't necessarily read my Bible or pray consistently. And I was feeling myself kind of integrating into the world a bit instead of being set apart and being set apart as holy as the Bible calls us to be. But despite that, I had a voice inside telling me that I should be praying more often and that I should be praying for my family. So starting, a few weeks ago, I've started praying more consistently, and particularly one of the things that I pray about is for safety and protection for my family. And so I started praying consistently after hearing that voice that kind of nudged me to do so for the past few weeks. Now, fast forward to this year. This weekend was my brother's birthday. My brother Daniel had his birthday, and my family was meeting up with him and our parents to celebrate his birthday. And we were going to the Cheesecake Factory. We had planned to meet up together at 4:30 at the Cheesecake Factory. Now, I was actually a little bit late, if I recall. I think we ended up meeting up around 4:45. And when we met up, we were told by my parents that the Cheesecake Factory was completely booked. It was full, and they had a 1 to 2 hour wait for us to get a table. It was weird because we had tried to book a table ahead of time. We had a total of 7 people in our party, and they said because it was over 6 people, they were not able to book a table for us. And so it was a strange coincidence. So after we found out that it was going to be a 1 to 2 hour wait to get a table at the Cheesecake Factory, we talked about it for a bit, and we thought, do we want to wait around here? Because it will probably be around 6 or 6:30 if we waited here before we could get a table. And ultimately, we consulted, and I had an idea that popped into my mind that, Daniel really likes the Olive Garden. Maybe we should go there. And so I gave that as a suggestion, and everybody agreed. So we decided to leave the premises. And this was probably around 5 to 5:30. We left the premises and we headed over to Olive Garden. And we had a fantastic dinner. We really enjoyed ourselves. I had some delicious pasta. My wife did as well. My daughter had some mac and cheese, I believe. And we just had a great time. You know, we celebrated Daniel's birthday. And it was just seemed like a normal birthday. That was until the very next day, on Sunday. My father sent me a text in the afternoon about a news story. And let me go ahead and pull that up for you. So this is a news story that comes from Fox 13, Seattle. It's a online news story. It was an article that was published on Sunday, October 9th at 10:05 a.m. The title of this news article is Tacoma Mall Parking Lot, Shooting Chaos, Caught on Camera, Stores Locked Down. So I'll go ahead and read it. Tacoma, Washington. Cell phone video captured the chaotic moments after a shooting at the Tacoma Mall sent customers running for safety and forced many of the stores into lockdown. Witnesses say the shots were fired near the food court area of the mall Saturday evening. Fox 13 News talked to one family who took cover in the back of a store and another man who captured part of the shooting on video after the gunman ran past him into the parking lot. Anthony Ballinger said he was working on the patio at the Cheesecake Factory when the shots rang out and panic erupted. We had guests crying. People were running in the back, hiding. It was pretty chaotic at that point, said Anthony. He says he witnessed an argument and saw a man pull out a gun and fire several shots. He captured one of the last rounds fired on video. It looked like there were two different groups of people that were arguing back and forth, that were arguing with each other originally, and one guy had a hand in his coat, said Anthony. He said the man who fired first had a sweater pulled over the lower half of his face. The guy that started the shooting was firing at the other guy after he ducked behind a car, said Anthony. He says hundreds were trying to flee to safety from the terrifying situation, including a number of families and children that had come to enjoy Saturday at the mall. They're like, okay, everybody towards the back, said Monica Gasper, a mom from Gig Harbor. Monica said she and her family were in Express when they rushed to a back room to hide and the store was locked down. We ran towards the back and they locked us back there, and someone suggested the women and kids be in one room, not towards the door, said Monica. While Monica's son kept busy playing on Dad's phone, Monica worried. I didn't want to look too worried in front of my kids, so I tried to stay positive, she said. Tacoma police issued a statement Saturday evening saying that before 5:30 p.m., officers responded to a call of shots fired in the parking lot of the Tacoma Mall. Two groups of people were reported to have exchanged shots and fled in cars. No injuries were reported at that time. Shockingly, there were people still coming in with police everywhere, sitting down to eat. But we didn't close. A lot of the staff went home, said Anthony. Anthony praised his managers for keeping everyone safe, and the store locked down. He said they were also concerned about employees' mental health and were supportive. He says, unfortunately, the shooting is a sign of the times. The world is changing. This is unfortunately something that happens all too often, said Anthony. So according to the news article, nobody was shot. However, one thing you have to keep in mind is that when it comes to shootings like this, Oftentimes there are casualties that are unintentional. You know, you have a stray bullet that hits a bystander. It's all too common. And the fact that my wife had a vision of being shot at that same exact location that there was a shooting at, it seems like a pretty big coincidence. And you couple that with the fact that I had been praying for safety for my family for the past few weeks, and all of a sudden something happened that intervened and caused us to not be there when the shooting took place. That's God. That has to be God. I believe that that was God protecting us. And I believe that God saved my wife's life. That He answered our prayers. I'm so grateful to God for everything that He's done for me in my life. Now, I'm not very good at witnessing or evangelizing or anything like that. However, I can tell you from my experience that God has been good to me in my life, and that Jesus has been a true Savior for me in my life, that He's pulled me out of a lot of things and has made my life a lot better. If anybody's curious about, Christianity and the Bible and Jesus, I would just suggest doing what I did. Because I was not born a Christian, I would just suggest praying to God. Just praying to God and asking Him for yourself, Just pray to God and ask Him, where do you want me to be? Do you want me to follow Jesus? Do you want me to, become a Christian? And I think you'll find that God does pull you in that direction, just like He's done for me. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and God bless everybody.